Alright, I hope you remember this shape right here. It is called a pyramid. So I'm going to write that on the line right here. A pyramid is a three-dimensional figure with at least what are the sides here? Look at all the sides. They're all triangles, right? With at least three triangular sides that meet at a common, where do they all meet, all these triangles? They meet up here. That is called a vertex. In only one blank that is a polygon. Well, this thing at the bottom here, that's a polygon. So that is only one base that is a polygon. The triangular sides of a square pyramid are called and you're probably not familiar with this term, but those triangular sides, they're called lateral faces. So I'm going to write that down here. And then the blank is the height of each lateral face. It's called the slant height. So to recap here, the vertex, that's a review. That's a point where three edges are meeting here, in this case four edges. A lateral face, you can see it's kind of the side of where two triangles are meeting. And then the slant height is just measuring the height from the vertex to that base that we talked about. The base in this case is a square, since we're saying this is a square pyramid. So to find the surface area of a square pyramid, maybe the steps look familiar to what we've done in the past with rectangular prisms or triangular prisms, excuse me. The first thing we have to do is find the area of the individual shapes. So in this case, we're talking about a square and some triangles. Secondly, remember to multiply the triangles areas by 4 because there are 4 triangles. And then finally, the step that I think you tend to forget, add the square's area with that of the 4 triangles. So make sure you add those up at the end because you want to find the area of all the surfaces. So we'll look at a couple of examples. This one's just a net. So you'll see net and you'll see the actual 3D object. We'll see that one actually on the next slide. So this is the 3D object. But here it is with the net. You can see again, we have squares and triangles. So make sure we figure out what the shapes are. That way you can get to the formulas. After you figure out the shapes, write the formulas down. And remember triangle to divide it by 2. And then with the square, we know the base and height of the square. Since, remember what this means? The two little quotation marks, we call them tickle marks maybe. 6 inches. 6 inches by 6 inches. So the area there would be 36 inches squared. That's just the square, remember. We don't want to skip ahead and say, oh, I got my area. You still got a lot of work to do on this problem. So base times height. The base would be 5 inches of this, or really the height, maybe you could call it 5 inches. Doesn't matter. What you're going to do is multiply 5 times 6. You get 30 inches squared. You got to divide that by 2. And when you divide that by 2, you get 15 inches squared. Now remember with this, I should have done it at the beginning just as a point of emphasis, but triangle area you have to multiply by 4 because there are 4 triangles. So we have to multiply this 15 right here by 4 since each triangle is 15 inches squared. And that area would equal 60 inches squared, right? 15 times 4. And then we have to add that, the 4 triangles, with a 1 square, 60 plus 36. Your total surface area, 96 inches squared. Similar steps in the next problem here. You can see it's a 3D object. I'm going to let you try this one on your own. So pause the video. I'll show you the answer in just a second on this slide right here. But try it on your own. See if you can figure out all the steps you need to do. Alright, first of all, we want to identify the shapes. So hopefully you're able to do that and multiply the triangle by 4, right? Since there's 4 triangles. Next thing we do is identify the formulas, and then from there you can kind of just plug away. And the area of the square would be 10,000 meters squared. And then for the triangle, I probably could have put a comma in here, 10,000. But anyway, 100 times 40 would be 4,000 meters squared. We divide that by 2. We get 2,000 meters squared, and then we're going to multiply that by 4, of course, because there's 4 triangles. So we end up with 8,000 meters squared. We would again add that with the square there. So the square and the triangle added up together, we get 10,000 plus 8,000. I think we get 18,000 meters squared.